favorite moment in this entire... Maybe I should complicate this before I start speaking here.
Welcome to movie night.
Mutation. It is the key to our evolution. This process...
Oh, sorry. We keep messing this up. Go ahead, Nick.
Forget about it.
No, it's okay. All right, I'll start this. Here's what we're talking... Welcome to movie night. Here's what we're discussing this week.
Welcome, Professor.
That's right. We are discussing the Fox X-Men movie from the early 2000s. Yeah, sorry, Nick. Do you want to do it again?
It's ruined. It's whatever.
It's ruined.
So, Medina goes, Hugh Jackman, Heath Ledger, and Jackie Earle Haley, the holy trinity of comic book movie castings. Who? Jackie Earle Haley.
Chris, you're forgetting Christopher Reeve as Superman,
and Henry Cavill as Superman for that matter. But JJheat was up. What's up? Showing up here in spirit. Maybe he'll be on later. He's got homework. But
I can feel he's bringing the heat even in the chat.
Yeah, exactly.
He brings the heat in JJheat.
I need a Human Torch meme for when he comes on. So
yeah, I need.
You really do.
I need something like that.
I'll get that. I'll make that.
My suggestion is like that moment from the Fantastic Four 5 where she's like, don't even think about it. He's like, never do. I never do. And then he jumps off and then
he jumps off. What I'll probably do is his intro will be him going, "Flame on!"
What do you think about that?
Like, I do like the lead up to it where he's like, don't even think about it. Never do.
Nah, I have a better one of mine's. Give me a surprise. But anyway, so we're talking about the Fox X-Men movie, which actually, and I put this in the title for a reason. This was one of the movies that really convinced people that comic book movies could be cool. Because remember, in the past, you had like movies that didn't really give.
Oh, he's sound cut out there.
You had like X-Men. It was like, oh, okay, these can be something.
Yeah, like I know the popular narrative is to give all the credit to Blade, and don't get me wrong, Blade's important. But basically the way I put it is Blade walked so that X-Men could run. That's how I put it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Blade was really marketed more as like a horror movie or an action movie. The comic book movie, it was more of like an anecdote kind of thing. Versus X-Men was like the first, really big mainstream. Like sure, we had Superman in the 70s, Batman in the 80s. But this is like really where superhero movies really kicked off.
What's up, Master Sergeant? What's up, Lawrence? So, yeah, this was like, and plus, let me put it this way: imagine how many legends this movie, how many legendary careers this movie launched. Because you have like Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier.
I mean, he was already famous.
Well, I mean, in terms of like what we know these guys for, Patrick Stewart, but Hugh Jackman as freaking Wolverine.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like Patrick Stewart, you could debate because like he was already world famous for,
But and remember, what was actually really cool. Remember, and this is one of the first scenes I want to talk about. Batman the 80s, dude, 1989, of course. But
late 80s.
One of my favorite scenes is where we first meet Wolverine. He's in that cage fight, and when he starts fighting that guy, whenever he hits him, you hear the metal of the adamantine skeleton like impacting and it clangs, and I'm like, that is such a cool idea.
It's really over the top, but it just works.
It works for him because like he's getting his ass kicked for like a couple of minutes, and he's like, screw this, boo, and the fist impacting, and the dude's like, ah.
Oh, also fun fact, when Rogue shows up to that area, the truck driver was the voice of Beast from the animated series.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice little piece of trivia there for you. But like one of the favorite lines from that scene where the honestly goes, whatever you do, don't hit him in the balls. Like I said, anything goes, but he'll take it personally.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What do you think of Rogue in this movie?
Too pusta.
There is a lack of battle with Brie Larson. There's a distinct lack of battle with Brie Larson.
But I think the thing about it, at the time I thought she was pretty good, but now that I know, like now that I have like the X-Men animated series to compare it to, I like the animated Rogue more because she was more spunky, more badass
To be
than
fair,
this Rogue.
this is Rogue very early in her career.
Mm-hmm.
And also I feel like she's a great like allegory for like what everything mutants represent. You know, because like she's a person who is barred from physical contact. She can't touch people, or she might kill them. It's like a great, honestly, microcosm of the problem with with being a mutant.
Yeah,
And it's like the thing is, as the movies go on, she does get more confident. So give her some credit.
Speaking of that, all right. One of the things that I love, what they always do whenever they open up, whenever they start a new X-Men continuity, the one thing they always show is Magneto in the concentration camp. Because and I think that's intentional because that sets up 100% the argument. If you want to know why Magneto hates humans so much, that is a pretty good reason to.
Yeah, this movie leans heavily into kind of like the Martin Luther King Malcolm X dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that like was there in the comics originally, but it's definitely something that this movie tries to do. It's definitely a dynamic that this movie is trying to do. So like you can debate it in the comics, but as far as this movie, it's very clear they're trying to do that. They say that a lot. And what I like about Magneto being a concentration camp is like he understands. Let them put a number on your forehead. And when he says that, he's not being hyperbole. He literally has a number on his arm.
Yeah, it happened. It's not like like you said, it's not hyperbole at all. It's more like I've lived through this. Don't tell me humans are not capable of this because I went through the Holocaust. And another thing, and Nick, you referenced this too. That first meeting between Charles and Magneto, you instantly know the way that those two actors interact. You instantly know that despite everything, they are friends.
Yeah, like that. It's just a masterclass in acting between Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, where it's like this is the first time you're seeing these characters, like literally ever. The actors in these characters, yet they play that scene so well. You totally buy in the fact that they know each other. Like you can just feel the camaraderie just bursting through the scenes.
Yeah, you definitely can, and it's one of those moments. What's up, Tev? But yeah, it's and that's really important because what you want to understand about the X-Men is no matter what, Charles Xavier and Magneto are always friends. In fact, in X-Men 3, after Charles is dead, and you have Pyro who speaks ill of Professor X, Magneto quickly takes him aside and goes, Charles Xavier has done more for mutants than anyone in existence. Show him a little respect. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's honestly, I think one of the reasons why this character dynamic has lasted kind of so long is it's like it's the ultimate we're on opposite sides, but I still respect you kind of thing.
Yeah. The first X-Men movie will always be my favorite. Yeah, it's X-Men 1 is kind of tied with X-Men 2 for me for the best, but I've always really enjoyed X-Men 1. So moving on. Okay, and by the way, this is why it's interesting to see how Marvel does X-Men now. We are well past the time when a Magneto could have been a Holocaust survivor. True. I'm wondering, well, yeah, because always Magneto be really old in order for them to do that. So I wonder what would they do to set up that argument. Even though X-Men 3 was disappointing, I did like that scene with Magneto and Professor. Yeah, exactly. That's why I say there are some redeeming qualities of X-Men 3 because it's again that one scene. Because you want to establish that no matter what, these guys genuinely care for each other. It's just they're on opposite sides of the spectrum. And yes, they sometimes fight, but ultimately they still respect each other. Because Charles knows that in his heart, Magneto is trying to look out for mutants. He may be expressing it wrong, but he's still ultimately a good man. Agreed. I was watching Days of Future Past this morning in TNT. That's a good one. By the way, I asked Chris Claremont what his favorite X-Men movie was, and that's the one he said. So, Teladia, what do you think of this X-Men movie?
I thought this X-Men movie was brilliant for a first ever Marvel movie live action. If you think about it, it's the first. This was the first ever, and I remember the teasers for it, like in 1999. Do you remember those? Like in
No, I was 3 at the time.
Oh, I remember it. Trust me, I do.
yeah, the early teasers as well were great.
Yeah,
So
I did. I wasn't able to see this one in theaters, but I actually got to see X2 in theaters.
I think I saw X3. I saw all of them from X3 and on in theaters, I think.
When I saw X-Men the first film, I saw it on DVD at my uncle's house, and I was like blown away by it because everything was perfect. It reminded
Which
me.
version of the DVD did you have? Did you have X-Men 1.5?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
Because they had like that special edition release where it's like it had like a bunch of like behind the scenes features, bunch of like deleted scenes. That's what I had, and I loved it.
I loved. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I said the one thing I love about this film was like it reminded me so much of the 90s animated cartoon.
Yeah, it really did when you think about it.
When you think about it logically, it had character development, it had the only nitpick I have to say is Rogue.
Yeah, that's the only one. But everyone else, they freaking nailed. Ultimate Magneto and the Ultimate Universe is hardcore ruthless. Yeah, if they do the Ultimate one for Magneto now, which that's probably what they're going to go with because a lot of the MCU is based on the Ultimate. 3 at the time was brilliant. Magneto was totally relatable. He saw the worst in humanity, whereas Professor X saw the best. Opposing sides with the same goal. Yeah, exactly. And I liked how Patrick Stewart definitely communicates that fatherly figure for Professor X because at this point you want Professor X to feel like the father figure of the X-Men because he kind of is. And I think Patrick Stewart and then McAvoy perfectly cover that really well.
Man, these timelines are so confusing.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, Nick, I have a present for you.
Okay. I don't know. Keep your eye open.
I got it. Sorry. So
got him.
So I love where. Okay, so after Wolverine is saved by Sabretooth, who I didn't know at the time was Wolverine's brother, but we didn't learn that until X-Men.
Played by wrestler Tyler Mane, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And so we get like. So I love how Wolverine shows up at the X-Mansion when he's taken there. First, he like manhandles Jean and escapes, and then he like proceeds to insult the X-Men with lines like,
"What do they call you? Wheels?"
He did not make that joke today. No, he would be canceled real quick.
I'd argue his disbelief actually really helped kind of ground the universe.
Yeah.
Wait. Say that again.
Play it again. All right.
What do they call you? Wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, in that scene, I think Patrick Stewart's comedic timing is really underrated. To where when Wolverine walks through the door and then like Kitty Pryde just like does it and Patrick Stewart's like physics.
Yeah, I know. Oh, by the way, you know who else was in that scene? Jubilee.
Yeah.
That's what I love about these movies. They always fit in if you're watching. They fit in cameos for like X-Men. I love it.
Yeah, there's so many cameos, especially in the second movie. They really pack it in.
Mm-hmm. And First Class was a soft reboot. As for the storyline itself, it was a pretty solid. Yeah, exactly. But by the way, so speaking of like early X-Men, if you notice, so the uniforms in this movie were like leather biker gear.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Thank you, Scott. But I had to get that one. But it's because
what's really hilarious?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the most ironic thing about it. So they went with that because they wanted it to be more realistic and believable. Like, oh, this is what X-Men would be like. But if you watch, no, I gotta finesse this. But if you watch behind the scenes, they can't even get up a 1 foot high wall. Like they literally can't lift their knee high enough to get over it. They spend
true.
over an hour trying to get over it, and it's just so hilarious.
It wasn't necessarily the movie people that were doing that. It's because the fact that at the time Grant Morrison was writing the X-Men and he gave them those leather costumes. That was a him thing.
And then later on in the cartoon shows called X-Men Evolution, they used leather.
Mm-hmm. here's a good question based on Lawrence's comment. Who's your favorite X-Man?
In this movie,
Okay, let's start with that.
let's just kind of restrict it to this movie.
Yeah, Wolverine is mine.
Wolverine.
You just gotta love Wolverine. I love when he still like steals Scott's bike and he like hits the booster and he's like, "Whoa!"
I gotta say Storm. I'm sorry. I'm with Lawrence on this one.
Do you know what happens when a toad is struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
By the way, that line was written by Joss Whedon.
It sounds like a Whedon line. Also,
did you know that the actor for Toad is also Darth Maul?
Yes.
No kidding.
So
Very
you know that
perfect.
one shot where like Toad's doing like the staff baton twirl?
Yeah.
That's basically him homaging Darth Maul.
No
Ray Park-
kidding.
Okay, so Ray Park, he played Darth Maul, and then he was also Snake Eyes in the first G.I. Joe movie.
Wow. And by the way, so they also had Iceman, Pyro, Siren, all making cameos in this movie. And say whatever you want about the TV show, The Gifted. They nailed the B-list. Yeah, I like that show, by the way. Gifted, it's really good. So,
By the way, the actor who plays Iceman in this would go on to play Lamplighter in The Boys.
yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I know you. And this is back when Iceman was cool and not a gay stereotype. Yes, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna throw it in there.
Wait, are you saying Iceman is cool?
Thank you. And by
You're the
way,
one who
Nick,
made the pun. I just pointed it out.
I love that clip.
You gotta
That's
keep
the-
that one.
Nick,
Man,
I'm gonna keep that one because that's gonna be my new Nick is pissing me off clip.
No.
I-
That's the
I
new.
regret
Why did you
nothing.
say that name?
No. We gotta keep that one. We gotta keep that one. That one's classic. No, I'm saving that one specifically for Nick because it fits really well with Nick. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's the same F off bar thing. But so again, I really enjoyed this movie chiefly because the X-Men have been my favorite part of Marvel for a long time. They have the best
Yeah.
at the time. Pre Hickman leaving, they had the best comics, I think, at Marvel, really. And I get to think a lot of people would agree with me on that one, particularly because you had like Claremont, and then you had the beginning of Hickman's run where they really like fleshed out because what Claremont did, which I think was so genius, is he really made it so each of these characters so there was rarely a weak character. Everyone could stand on their own. That's why there's so many iconic X-Men.
Like, I'm sorry, I know so much trivia about this movie. Like, as far as
Go
the
ahead.
actors,
Unleash.
like for example, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
You might know. You could say that Jean Grey has a killer set of thighs
Yeah.
because she was Xena on a top in Goldeneye.
Oh yeah. And wasn't she Israeli armed forces at some point?
Possibly, I'm not sure.
'Cause
And
'cause
then
she's Israeli, right?
I don't know. Also, Cyclops. He would later go on
Oh, she's Dutch.
to be a host in Westworld, and then also a father to a very fast blue hedgehog.
Oh, and he was also a stepfather to Superman's son.
That too.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm like, okay, so he's always fathering other people's children. But
Yeah, I feel it's like James Marsden. He has like this you know how like Sean Bean has this thing where like he dies in all his movies. James Marsden's thing is he's always getting tucked in his own movies.
and by the way, Tavia brought. I'm gonna have to use the clip. Too bad Bendis' X-Men was so bad. So you know what Bendis did in the X-Men, Nick?
What?
All right. So he comes in. So at the time, this is post AVX. So Cyclops is not exactly on good terms with everyone. So what Bendis does, he has Beast go back in time, bring back the original X-Men as kids. Hey, what's up, dead guy? And then have them be on the team. In other words, he brings back like young Scott, young Jean, and all that stuff. And that's where you get young Jean.
Are you saying that Marvel pulled that they literally did a Super Sons and Daughters?
It gets worse. No, Nick, it gets worse. That's how you got Iceman being gay, because here's how that interaction happened. So Jean read Iceman's mind and said, "Oh, you're
Red.
gay."
Red.
Yeah, which you could argue he's not really gay. She just mind whammied him.
Or you
Yeah,
could
go ahead.
also argue that like maybe he had some gay tendencies, or whatever, and because like he's just reading his mind. It's not all like you just because you can read his mind doesn't know she sees everything.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, no, but I know it's just until Marvel shows me another thing, that's gonna be my my theory on it. But anyway,
it's cringe regardless.
And Bendis got massive heat for that, which is the same thing as like outing someone that didn't want to get outed. So I'm like, how would you think that was gonna go, dude?
Yeah, like even if like Iceman was really gay, like even if that was an actual thing, the way he did it is bad.
Mm-hmm. And then JJheat says Patrick Stewart will always be Professor X. I don't care. Yeah, kind of. Which makes Multiverse of Madness so maddening because how they just kill him off in the Mindscape against a key non-telepath. Because Nick, you've talked about this before. How powerful is Professor X in the telepathic realm?
Literally the most powerful. Like,
and she
Emma
just
Frost
snaps his neck.
Emma Frost is maybe a close number 2, but even like Xavier is the premier telepath. Like he is the most powerful telepath in the Marvel universe. Like Emma Frost is close, but even she, like,
even she acknowledges that Professor X also William Stryker in the comics is a crazy right-wing hate leader of the Purifiers. Yeah, he's like one of those evangelical preachers on TV. He's not like a military guy, so they changed it a little bit, but I like the change a lot more than the comics because I think it's cool linking him to Wolverine.
Also, I mean, he still kind of had that like purifier, kind of thing. I think
the X-Men and not Superman right now.
But that's kind of still getting into like an X2 discussion. So that's another.
So, but I want to talk about something that was really cool about this movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is like the cool thing about this movie. It was rated 12+, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Or like
it was PG-13 in the United States.
Yeah.
Or in the UK, it was 12+. So
okay.
But the one thing I'd say cool about this, there wasn't much like, swearing. But the action scene was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, that action scene of Mystique versus Wolverine. By the way, speaking of Mystique, how about the visual effects wherever she transforms? How it's all fluid.
I find that really interesting.
Did you know that she had to be in the makeup chair for 10 hours to get all that stuff on there?
Wow. And by the way, that's still I think that holds up really well today.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically because they had an actual actor and in physical makeup, and by that time, morph effects were pretty advanced, so they could kind of make it work.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and that was one of my, and I like how whenever she talks, like they kind of changed this when they went to X-Men 2, but when she talks in X-Men 1, she actually like has like multiple voices overlapping each other. So I think that's really cool the way they did this.
To be fair, Mystique literally only has one line. It was because of people like you that I was afraid to go to school as a child. Yeah, like when I said that, like I've seen this movie way too many times, I wasn't lying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I like that detail of her like overlapping voices because she's a shapeshifter. So I think that's a really clever way of doing it. They
still had some reverb on her voice.
It had a little bit, but it wasn't like multiple overlapping voices. That's why I said that was kind of a downgrade.
In the second movie, there's a scene in like the third act that we're going to be talking about that one.
Yeah, exactly. So Wombat says, plus the X-Men have a lot of enemies in the comics from the Brotherhood, Hellfire Club, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, Mojo, and the Sentinels, right? The Right, and Friends of Humanity. Yeah, exactly. But Apocalypse, that's someone that's the closest I think Marvel has to Darkseid. At least as far as I'm concerned. But by the way, interesting. This is also back before Emma Frost became a good guy. So at the time she had just joined the X-Men team because I think this came out during Grant's run. I think
this movie came out in the year 2000.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was around the time that like EVS and Grant were doing X-Men. So and it was in that run that she officially joined the team. So
Is this
she
the
was-
run where EVS hits sex in the book?
yes, on every page. And didn't tell anyone. Teladia, do you know the story?
No.
So you know
No.
who Ethan Van Sciver is, right?
Oh yeah, I know who Evan Van Sciver is.
So
better.
at the time, he was drawing X-Men. So what he did because his editors were really dicks. So what he did is he hid the word sex on every page, like he would draw it in, and made sure Grant and the colorist and the inkist knew where it is, so they could highlight it. So he didn't tell anyone. Then after the books came out, he went to like the comic book news like papers and said away. Marvel allowed the word sex to go through on their books, and it's on this page in this issue, this page on this issue, this page in this issue, and it became a huge thing. Yeah, he pulled the Lion King.
Wow.
Yeah, he's basically Darkseid. Yeah, that's the
So,
story.
Also, Darkseid could totally kick Apocalypse's butt.
Oh, Darkseid could destroy anyone. That's the one character. Okay, this is the one time I'm gonna ask this, Nick. Kratos versus Darkseid.
Kratos.
Darkseid.
Kratos.
Okay, I don't know where I stand on this one. Just because.
Okay, Kratos has killed the entire Greek pantheon, including Zeus, and he's also if we want to go by the recent games, he's also killed many members of the Nordic pantheon.
Okay, the only refutation I have on that, Nick, just the only back to that is when you kill the pantheons, that's it, they're dead. But when you kill Darkseid, he just becomes more powerful. That's the difference between Darkseid, because when you're fighting his body and you kill his body, he just goes back, because true form Darkseid is the only thing that really could destroy the entire DC universe.
The only thing I'll have to say
yeah.
is let's just hope Darkseid doesn't kill his son. Otherwise, Kratos will kill Darkseid 1,000,000 times.
Yeah,
and 1,000,000
that would be cool.
1,000,000 times.
Yeah, it's Darkseid versus Kratos from God of War. But Wombat says, and the X-Men have a badass teams. Oh yeah, X-Force. X-Force is basically the SEAL Team 6 of the mutants, and they're the team that will kill people. Like the X-Men are kind of averse to killing until they send the X-Force, which has Wolverine, Laura Kenny, Deadpool, Archangel, all the guys that are totally cool with killing. Plus,
yeah, there's been
imagine
a lot
the
of really
damage.
good X-Men teams. You had Alpha Flight, Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really like the lineup of Excalibur because you got Nightcrawler, Rachel Summers, Kitty Pryde. You know.
Mm-hmm. You also had in the Hickman era, you had Marauders, which is basically a pirate story for X-Men. You also had Excalibur, where it was more of a sword and sorcery storyline. And then you had X-Force, which is more of the Delta Force SEAL Team.
And then wasn't X Factor the original X-Men team, basically?
Kind of, yeah, I believe so. Yeah, but yeah. So another thing I like
Generation X, which was basically the New Mutants was basically their answer to Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And then Generation X was kind of the equivalent to Young Justice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think Jubilee was actually the leader of Generation X.
Well, that's concerning. When Nick and a long time ago in one of the early episodes of Under Two Capes, Lad and I were proposing our X-Men teams, and we'll probably do that on a stream one time. But Nick wanted Jubilee to lead the X-Men. I mean, not Nick. Sorry, Lad wanted Jubilee to lead the X-Men.
I was about to say,
and Teladia's face basically sums it up.
I was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I was about to say I was a little confused.
I was a little confused. Unless you have video proof of me saying that, I did not say it.
Yeah, it was not you. It was Lad. He's known to have a lot of hot takes on the show, way more than Nick does.
I wouldn't say it's if it's a hot take, it's a stinking hot take.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And with that, I only have this to say to you, Lad.
It's me. Prove it. You're a dick.
Okay.
That's another thing I love, by the way. These movies perfectly summarize the romantic rivalry between Scott and Logan so well. And I wish they introduced Emma Frost in these movies because that would have been actually a really cool like dynamic to add in. Plus, she's just such a great character.
I don't know. I just don't like the idea of like the mental cheating Scott has with it just I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, well, I don't think they have to do that. There are other like it would take place. Well, actually, he's dead after X3. It could take place between X2 and X3 because remember, Jean's dead in those movies, so it could be kind of like rebound for comfort, and then she leaves, and then we get X3. I don't know.
To be fair, in the X-Men universe, Emma Frost is also dead because in the X-Men universe, she dies in between First Class and Days of Future Past.
Well, yeah, I know. At the time, she was still alive.
She does show up in X-Men Origins for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird because I'm like, you're not Emma Frost.
Yeah, because like they just had like a diamond form version. They didn't thought they'd do the telepath.
Yeah, because I was about to say, no, the telepath is her primary power. It's just she had at the Grant era, they introduced the idea of secondary mutations where she has two powers, and it's like the diamond form was her bonus power. So I'm like, well, that's weird. So, but I'm saying at the time this movie was coming out, they could have done that because remember, the newer Fox X-Men movies hadn't come out yet, so you wouldn't know that Emma Frost is dead. I mean, they could. I mean, it would. I mean, they could have. There was an X-Men 2 tie-in game. Yes, I love that tie-in game. That tie-in game was great. And by the way,
I'm trying to think. Did you know? I think it's in X2. Wolverine is voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh, really? Luke Skywalker plays Wolverine. But
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah,
I think it's the X2 tie-in game.
Emma Frost has slept with Scott Summers, Tony Stark, Sebastian Shaw, Namor. Yeah, she's been around, but that's like part of her character because she's supposed to be that like.
I guess her mutant ability is not it's not just her skin that she can make diamond hard.
I love that clip.
Jared, you knew exactly where I was going with that.
As soon as you started talking, Nick, I put my mouse hovering over that clip. Wait, that's from Wolverine's Revenge. Yeah. I knew. I was like, okay, preparing the FU clip. There you go. Yeah, I'm definitely keeping that. But
please keep it as awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But so. Yeah, so what's interesting and what's kind of cool about this movie, and this movie really summarizes the X-Men like argument because it's like it summarizes the idea about the reason why the X-Men work so much is because if you feel like you don't fit in for any reason, the X-Men work because remember, just because they are different in some way, they are seen with derision and hatred and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't.
And that's the thing about the X-Men is they're not an allegory for any specific minority group. They're an allegory for every repressed group, every outsider. They're an allegory for gay people. They're an allegory for Jewish people. They're an allegory for Black people. They're an allegory for Teladia people.
Nice, yeah. But they're Teladia. They're a allegory for people that make really bad puns, Nick. But
yes, I am an X-Man, baby.
Yeah, but yeah, and that's what works. So that's why I think the X-Men are how you do like social justice in comics. Because guess what? They represent any group, literally any group. They don't put it in your face because it's like, okay, you can identify with the struggle. You may not identify specifically with each character in terms of like race, gender, etc., but you understand the struggle. So that's the way I think that comics should address this. At least symbolize the struggle and
okay.
And just go off of that.
I need to talk about a scene from X2 real quick.
What's up?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a scene. It's like, how long have you known that you've been a mutant? Have you it's where they play out like a lot of the like the gay tropes. Like,
Yeah.
have you tried not being a mutant? And kind of thing. And that's the scene where like Bobby's coming out. Like they
out.
handled that scene so well. Like
Yeah.
you actually we'll talk about it more when we get to X2, but like you were talking about like the social justice aspect, and I just had to like bring up that scene because like they do that scene with so much subtlety. Like if you didn't know about what they were trying to do, the scene plays fine.
Still works.
But yeah. And it's like that's something that's just lost upon modern writing is like that kind of subtlety.
Yeah, because at no point during these movies did I ever feel I was being hit over the head with something. No, it was like, okay, so this is what people go through. And I was like, okay. A question: what about X-Men: Days of Future Past Rogue cut? Because for me, I love that cut. I haven't watched that. We may cover that specific cut for movie night if I can find the Rogue cut.
I personally don't see the dislike for Rogue because like she doesn't have like this is she's literally a teenager versus like in the animated series I think she's like what in her mid 20s to late 20s kind of thing. Like she's further along in her career, and if as you go on with these movies, she does become more confident. She does become better in her role, and so like. And I do feel like having her be the microcosm of like how much it sucks to be a mutant, I think works really well. So I don't understand the hate. And also Anna Paquin, I think, plays it brilliantly.
She does. It would have been better, by the way, if we get like the X-Men in the MCU soon. Can we have someone drain Captain? Can we have Rogue show up and drain Captain Marvel of her powers and put her in a coma, and then we never see Captain Marvel again? That's how you replace Brie Larson with Monica Rambeau.
If they do a Captain Marvel movie and Rogue shows up, we know what's happening.
Yeah, because guess what? That would be the best way to get rid of Brie Larson and replace with Monica. Because have Monica take over as Captain Marvel while Carol's in a coma and just never have her wake up. It's really simple. It's actually that's the best way out of that.
And then while in a coma, Captain Marvel dreams about being a Canadian rock star.
Oh yeah, I know what you're going off of. I know what you're going off because I just recently started watching that movie.
And I'm so good.
Yeah, I think people wanted to see Rogue fly in the movies, but but at the time they couldn't exactly do that. And the Medina says that would be great. Specifically, Captain Marvel dies during the coma. Oh, jeez. Carol Danvers can then become binary. Yeah, and fun fact. Speaking of binary, that's why the last act of Dark Phoenix is so disjointed because at the time, first off, they wanted to do the Skrulls instead of those obscure aliens for the group that invades and shapeshifts because that's basically what they are. But
to be fair, the
Marvel,
aliens they chose are from the Dark Phoenix storyline because Phoenix actually did eliminate their homeworld, so it's not like they just picked one at random. But they are Skrulls.
They're the way they play it off. They're pretty much Skrulls, and then they wanted to have like Jean go full Phoenix. It's just they didn't do that because they wanted Captain Marvel to be able to go binary, and they didn't want confusion because remember when she becomes binary, isn't that when she has the Phoenix Force or something like that?
No, I think binary is actually her inherent powers or something. I'm not.
I remember somehow binary is tied to the Phoenix somehow.
Because I remember reading somewhere like binary is actually her mutant powers, and like the Captain Marvel powers are something that was like bestowed to her.
She's a mutant?
I think it was like some experiment, like they were doing some experiments on her after she lost her powers. Because like in the comic, she lost her powers when she was Ms. Marvel.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it comes from within her. Okay, they need to connect Winter Soldier and Black Widow with Wolverine and the Weapon X. Yes, that would be so cool. Yeah, it's something like that. But I think that's one of the reasons why they completely changed. The train scene was not in the original like story for Dark Phoenix.
Also, so when they eventually recast Wolverine in the MCU, they actually need to do a scene where Wolverine actually does some missions with the Howling Commandos and like bring back Chris Evans, and like
that'd be cool.
That
Because
would
like
be cool.
in the comics, he actually was a Howling Commando.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was in the
he
team. It
was.
was him, like Nick Fury, Dum Dum Dugan.
But there's one thing that I wish that they don't do in the new X-Men films
What?
that they did in the X-Men film was that what's it called, sort of relationship between Halle Berry and Hugh Jackman, where
Oh, you mean because Rogue and Wolverine do have a little bit of a romantic relationship in the comics, kind of.
yeah,
Well, in the movies, it's more of like a father-daughter thing, where like
Mhm.
Rogue maybe has like some sort of crush on him, but
No,
it's more of
no,
a
he's talking about
father-daughter
Storm. He's talking about Storm.
I'm talking about Storm, yeah, because I don't want Storm to, it
No.
doesn't make sense.
No, we don't need excess, dude.
Wait,
Yes, that's my term.
Wolverine and Storm in the movies, they never were romantic.
No, but that's what Teladia is saying, because in the comics they have had a romance in the past. So he's saying he wanted to like see a little bit of that in the movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would have allowed. So Nekatina, what's up? Andre says, I wish the Days of Future Past had a younger Logan in the past scenes. That would have allowed the Fox to really expand upon the second X-Men team. Yeah,
I mean,
I
as far
know.
as the younger Logan, you do realize, like, if you're talking about like the '70s sequence, even at that point, he was over 100 years old, even in that scene.
Yeah, you can. Plus, at one point, he just stopped aging, so he was always going to look like that.
Remember, Wolverine fought in the Civil War.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, yeah, Wolverine and Storm got romantic in the cartoon. Oh, really? I haven't gotten to that episode yet.
No, I can't remember that, but I do know in the comics, Storm and Black Panther.
They
Oh,
get
yeah.
married. It's
Yeah,
because of
that's
AVX. Wait, don't they have a relationship? Didn't they have a relationship in Days of Future Past? I don't remember.
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yes, they did. In Days of Future Past, they
When
did.
did they? Oh, in the comic or the movie?
The movie, they did a
When did
kiss
they
scene.
reference that?
They did a kiss. They did a kiss scene. It was in a deleted scene.
Okay, it was in the deleted
scene. So it
That's
doesn't
why. I have to look for that.
She got excited after that happened. She was like, yes.
Yeah.
It's
I
like the
wish they
closest we got was the ending to Wolverine, where they actually showed the suit.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna have him in the suit in Deadpool 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's no
Like,
reason not to.
probably what they're gonna do is it's gonna be one scene with the mask, and then he's gonna take the mask off, and the rest of the movie he's gonna be without the mask.
Yeah, probably.
What's up, Droga?
Wolverine's the Highlander. Yeah, it's a deleted
Is
scene.
it
Before he
because
goes
there
back
can
in
only be
time.
one?
Before he goes back in time, he was supposed to have a romantic scene with Storm. Yeah, I'll look that up. But and then I think I need to do an X-Men marathon. I don't remember a lot of this. Yeah, you do, because for the most part, I mean, X-Men 3 is when it gets really jokey and when you can laugh at the movie, but the rest of these movies are pretty solid. Except for like Dark. Ironically, whenever they do the Phoenix Saga, it sucks.
Well, the bad X-Men movies are X-Men 3, X-Men Origins, X-Men Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix.
No, Apocalypse is really good. I will die on that hill. But
your execution on that hill is going to be at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So
Execute Order 66.
but either way, so
for excellent pun.
Yeah, I know. The reason why I think that they keep failing with the Phoenix movies, and
because they keep hiring Simon Kinberg to write the movies.
True, but the reason why he keeps failing is because here's the thing:
he sucks.
Nick, let me finish. The thing about it is, the reason why I worked in the comics, one of the many reasons why I worked in the comics, is because they spent so much time setting up Jean and like everyone like essentially fell in love with Jean as a character. They didn't have that for like Dark Phoenix, and it was still rushed in X3. So they keep rushing to that because they think that's the only storyline that people remember from X-Men, which they don't. And X-Men Origins was my childhood, watched a million times. I'm sorry for that, Medina. That's not. That's
what really sucks.
What
is they actually did set up Phoenix, because in the first movie, it's heavily implied that like the mutant device actually supercharges Jean Grey. Like if you actually watch it, like literally after the thing, the first shot is like Jean Grey going like, and then in X2 they're like, oh, ever since Ellis Island you haven't been the same, and they literally like the last shot of X2 is Phoenix, so it's like they clearly were
in the
setting
water.
up.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they didn't set Jean Grey herself up, because part of why that storyline is so tragic when she turns is because we spend so much time like really enjoying this character, and then I will agree with this. They could have picked a better Apocalypse or changed his voice or something like that.
Oh, do you want to hear who Bryan Singer wanted to cast as Emma Frost in his version of X-Men 3? Like he was going to do a Hellfire Club?
You mean, in other words, if he had been allowed to do X-Men 3 instead of the other guy,
he was going to cast Sigourney Weaver as Emma
that would have been great. Oh, gee, she could have definitely done Emma Frost.
It would have been a different dynamic because she would have been a little bit older, but like, just think,
she could
Sigourney Weaver as like the villain of the movie.
She gets the character. Oscar, yeah, he was a horrible Apocalypse. He was too small, and the voice was the part that really lost me. And yeah, Tevia basically summarizes why everyone hates X-Men 3. One of the many reasons why. So you take the merc with the mouth and take away his...
What? It's like you sewed his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Also, Courage says hi.
Hey, what's up? So yeah, he's the merc with a mouth.
No, but
take away the mouth.
Here's the thing, right? When it came down to X-Men Origins Wolverine, at least in the video game, is more better than the movie.
Oh, that too. That's why he died all of a sudden in X3, because Marston was filming Superman, so they had to write him out of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's stupid. I feel like everyone hates Origins because of Deadpool only. And some of the CGI is like really crappy, like really bad. Like when he has the claws out, you could see them moving.
Yeah, the CG on the claws was really bad. There's so much wrong with that movie, honestly.
What the movie should have been was him going through all those wars. That would have been so much better, because that's what I want.
I will say, I think Liam Shriver made for a really good Sabretooth.
He was really good at Sabretooth. I'm fine with that. And I like the bone claws. That was also really cool. By the way, I have the comic that's heavily based on, called Wolverine Origin. And it's legit.
Oh, that's a really good comic.
It's really, really freaking good.
Well, the thing is, like the only really the first scene from X-Men Origins is where they really adapt that. The rest of it is just all original.
Yeah, the first scene, because the scene where Wolverine kills his actual father, yeah, that's it. That is it.
Also, in the X-Men Origins comic, it wasn't Sabretooth, it was this character named Dog.
Yeah. And
and also, if I remember correctly, like the implication that like the farm guy was his father was more implied rather than explicitly said. Like like there's like they never actually went out and said it, but like the guy looked a lot like Wolverine, and then like there's like the shot where like the wife has like claw marks on her back.
And people say, and they must like rough. Adding Scott Summers to Origins was weird. Yeah, that was also very odd. It's kind of like not Emma Frost. I'm gonna harper on that because I'm a big fan of that character, and they butchered her.
Well, the thing about that scene is it's actually a holdover because, again, I'm busting out the trivia here. When what they originally planned to do with X-Men 1.5 is they were actually going to shoot some like origin scenes, like you're going to have like the Rogue origin and like the Xavier origin, kind of thing. Basically, the origin for Cyclops was he was at prom and he goes in the bathroom and he goes in the bathroom and he has a headache and then he blows it off, and they actually the set for it, and that set actually was used in X2 when Mystique seduced the guard.
That's the bathroom?
That bathroom was actually meant to be for Scott's origin. And so they used that storyline for that kind of like that. They adapted it for that scene.
Yeah, that's not even Emma Frost. And by the way, Medina has a really hot take. I hate the Deadpool character. Just some childish jokes that are labeled as adult because he swears.
All right, no, where's the ban button? Where's the ban button?
Yeah, because that is not that's a very simplistic view of Deadpool. Nicotina says, and having Patrick Stewart DH cameo looks super stupid and awkward. Yeah, it is. It looks super like it was really bad like CGI, and again, that movie if it was just the Deadpool thing, I could forgive that. But if the CGI was better, it was just so bad.
I mean, come on. This was like what, 2007, 2008. They're still perfecting that technology. Like,
I got news for you.
Now.
If Transformers can look that good and still hold up, I'm sorry, those movies have no excuse.
Like, okay, I gotta push back on you on this, because there's a huge freaking difference between doing a 3D Transformer and digitally de-aging. Essentially, they were doing deep fakes in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you got to realize that tech was so early. Even now, we're still struggling with deep fakes. Like, they look really good, but they're not quite there yet. Like, I gotta remember, they were like, you know, the Rogue One stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what basically essentially what they were trying to do even back then. So I think we should cut them some slack.
Or if they didn't think it could look good, how about not do it?
Yeah, that too.
That's really simple. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I don't have a retort for that. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's like with the Emma Frost and Deadpool thing, I'm like, if you're not gonna do these characters right, don't do them at all. It's really that simple. And you know, Ryan Reynolds only agreed to play Deadpool in that scene because there was the promise that maybe that'll become a Deadpool movie. Because the first time we see him, he is definitely Deadpool. That is 100% Wade Wilson. The scene felt unnecessary. I was like, oh, they went there. Yeah, exactly. The 90s kids show had better CGI. Oh my gosh. Hear me out. Ewan McGregor for Professor X.
No,
I don't think so.
that's a hot take, Joker.
Oh wait. On the flip side, what character would you cast Ewan McGregor as in X-Men?
Good question.
That's a good question. I gotta think about that one because do we want to put him as maybe Mastermind, the head of the Hellfire Club?
Possibly.
Because he could kind of play him the way he did Black Mask.
Sebastian Shaw.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, so he plays Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, he plays Sebastian Shaw. Because I believe Shaw's like mutant name is Mastermind. I'm not sure, but Apocalypse it also sets up the Essex Corporation, aka Mr. Sinister. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do have the Essex Corporation show up in a lot of the later X-Men films.
The second Deadpool is a different guy?
I mean, to be fair, it's Deadpool and fourth wall break, so I think continuity kind of goes out the window.
Well, remember, if Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is coming back in Deadpool 2, that implies that it's the same character, but a different multiverse version. I think that's what Medina means by that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure what Deadpool 3 is going to be is Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just makes the most sense. Because then, like, also, I really hope they bring back, like, Jessica Alba and whatnot, you know, or Chris Evans. Like, I really hope they...
No, it's the same guy. It's Ryan Reynolds.
I really want them to have Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm, please.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, he'd do it too. I guarantee you, he'd do it.
So when we had Tobey Maguire come out and say, "Yeah, if asked, I'll come back as Spider-Man." Maybe we can get an actual Spider-Man 4. No, special song name is Black King. Okay. So I
gotta.
Black
This
King.
is a tangent. Here's I want Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man to be the Spider-Man in the Venomverse.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
in
same.
Deadpool 3, I feel like it's going to be a full X-Men affiliated Wolverine costume and all. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, we have a little buddy in the background.
Not impressed.
What's up?
What's up? Sorry I'm late. I had to take
And
care
for
of
coming in late, JJheat, I have this for you. Hang on.
It's me. Prove it. You're a dick.
Okay.
So, JJheat, what are your thoughts on the X-Men movie? Kind of sum it up for us.
Perfect. 10 out of 10. Patrick Stewart will always be Professor X, in my opinion.
Yeah, me
So-
too.
So, but JHeat,
Oh,
where's
was
the
another
heat?
member? Okay.
You bring the heat in JHeat, right? Why is your
Yeah.
profile? Why isn't you a Super Saiyan God?
And by the way,
I'll
Tevia,
say-
only one Fantastic Four movie was a train wreck. Only one.
Well, actually, I'll say the only good one was the one from 2005. 2007 was very flawed, and Fantastic was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
World Clip.
I will defend the first
Roller
movie.
clip.
Like, I will defend that movie. The first one, I think they got the Fantastic Four. I think they got it.
Why did you say that name?
I think, by the way, there's a director's cut of Fantastic that's apparently a way better movie.
Oh, yeah. Josh Trank's infamous tweet.
Yeah, and you know what? We should do a stream about that because we should do a stream on like director's cuts that fix the movie because we could talk about like the Snyder
Release the
cut,
Schumacher cut.
the Schumacher cut, the
I haven't brought that up in a long time.
yeah. What's the Superman one for
The Donner cut.
the Donner cut? We could talk about the director's cut of Daredevil because that movie's way better than the director's cut. Like, oh my gosh. And Katina, I didn't know you knew so much about X-Men comics. Yeah. And by the way, changing subject, if John Krasinski stays as Reed Richards in the MCU, Rainn Wilson as Dr. Doom, that's just for the memes. Yeah, exactly. That would be hilarious. I don't think that would happen, but that would be so
Okay,
funny.
remind me who Rainn Wilson is?
Dwight Schrute. Can you imagine that just for the memes?
Actually, I want the guy from Parks and Rec. What's his name?
Oh, Ron Swanson.
Yes, I want him to play Doctor Doom. Like, just oh my god.
That would be so good. Tevia asked, how do you guys feel about My Hero Academia and X-Men crossover? Because for me, I would be so happy for a crossover. I'm not really, I don't know anything about My Hero Academia, so I'll leave it to the panel to discuss that.
I know it's even less than you do, so.
I will say this. There's a reason shonen is for kids, mostly.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So,
the show is a little more like in line with adults. And by the way, Medina, yeah, they're going with a younger read. They're not going to go with Krasinski, as disappointing as that is, because I think he could have, if given the proper script, he could have done pretty well. Yeah. Also, Brian J.D. Palmer's noir movie, The Black Dahlia, has a 3-hour unreleased director's cut that was approved by the book's author. Oh, really?
Oh my god, I need to. That's a really good movie, by the way.
Yeah,
The Black Dahlia is a really good movie.
Oh,
By
yeah,
the way, it's based off a real murder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Bad idea. And then, basically, My Hero is X-Men, but for Japan. All right.
Yeah, it is. I know that much.
Yes, and I'm happy about this fact right here. I'm glad about that because I'm totally fine with him staying around as Kingpin. At least we got Charlie Cox staying around as Daredevil, even if it's a different version of Daredevil.
Did you ever see that one video where like it was Halloween and I guess Charlie Cox and what's the Loki's actor's name?
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston were doing a play together. So for Halloween, they dressed as each other's character. So you had Tom Hiddleston as Daredevil and Charlie Cox as Loki.
Oh, well. So, to advance this discussion of X-Men, and now I'm going to go around. We're going
to evolve it?
Yes, and we're going to evolve it. That's actually a good one. We are going to create our very own X-Men teams. So, that's such a catchy tune. Jeez.
I'm just gonna have a team of 5 Wolverines. I win.
No, you can't do that. It has to be
I can, and I will.
No, you're not. According to the rules of this stream, you can't.
Okay, fine. Logan, Draken, X-23.
It's not your time yet, and no, you can't do that. You can only have one Wolverine-like character. Let me see if I can find, because I have an old notepad that's like my original, like back when Lad and I did this discussion about let me see. I'm trying to find it because we did an episode that's like my X-Men team, and oh, by the way, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. X-Men versus the Avengers. Who's winning?
X-Men.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why you've noticed AVX, until the Avengers started recruiting mutants, AVX was totally one-sided.
I mean, Storm alone could like Storm or even Bobby Drake could probably solo the Avengers.
Oh yeah, because here's the thing: the X-Men are more god tier characters as opposed to, again, the grounded people of the the relatively grounded people of the Avengers.
Okay, I got a question for you, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
The best X-Men versus the Justice League.
Oh boy. Well, okay. So let me ask you this: what makes up the best X-Men?
Phoenix.
Wolverine,
Phoenix
Cyclops, Phoenix, Storm.
Okay, so
Iceman. You got to have Iceman and Archangel.
Okay, so to be clear, all right. So the team is Wolverine. And by the way, the answer to this is Batman because of Bat God. But it would essentially be okay. So Phoenix, Storm, Iceman,
Wolverine,
and who else again?
Cyclops.
I'm trying to think.
Colossus.
Okay, so I can tell you two people that would be at least casualties would be at least Colossus and maybe Wolverine would be knocked out. But so
I mean, you got to remember, Colossus can go one-on-one with the Juggernaut.
Yeah, so I'm saying. So here's the thing, though. Okay, that's really tough for me because I want to say the Justice League, but with the power level that we're coming up, because we have Storm, the Phoenix, and Bobby Drake all at once, I gotta give this to the X-Men, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, as the Justice League fan, it hurts, but that is irrefutable because when you have that much power coming at you at once, yeah, there's no escaping that.
Like the only scenario I see Justice League coming out on top is if Superman pulls a supernova.
Still, though, I mean, if he does his solar flare thing and like knocks them out, and then the rest of the league take him in, yeah, probably. But does he even still have that power anymore? Because he never uses it.
Here's the thing you got to realize about Colossus is he might not be able to defeat a lot of these people, but he can at least hold his own. Like if Superman hit him, he would survive.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
Like,
I'm not.
He might not be able to beat Wonder Woman, but he could give her a run for the money. And he could probably beat Aquaman.
So let me ask you this: Storm, one-on-one, Storm versus Wonder Woman.
Storm, I gotta say Storm.
I asked this for a specific reason. And Nick,
it depends.
What'd you say?
The lightning.
Yeah, but is Wonder Woman really that vulnerable to lightning? Because as far as I know, in the comics,
no, if anything, she's resistant to it.
Yeah, so that's why I say Wonder Woman in that case. Plus, her father is Zeus. As far as I know, her father's Zeus. So I'm
like, sure, Storm can conjure literally a Category 5 hurricane, and yeah, that would probably F up Wonder Woman. But lightning is kind of Storm's bread and butter.
Yeah, and it's like, let me put it this way: it wouldn't be an easy fight, but I still got to give it to Wonder Woman. Now, let me ask you this: all right, here's a video. I actually made a video on this matchup. Emma Frost versus Superman.
Emma Frost.
Superman actually does have psychic guards. Like, he's actually resistant to mental attacks.
And by the way, Wombat, yes, that's why I did Storm versus Wonder Woman. But I said Emma Frost. Do you know why? Because, really, why?
Because first off, Superman is resistant to mental attacks. Like, that's actually a thing.
Okay, also, I didn't know that at the time.
And there's also the fact that he could always go ranged. Like, the thing is, even in her diamond form, like, yeah, she could, like, in her diamond form, she could take a hit for Superman, but, well, like, she can take it, but she can't dish it out. Because, like, in her diamond form, she's not really that strong. Like, sure, she can take hits from Superman all day long in diamond form, but, like, she can't really do anything to attack him.
Okay, that's a good point. So I didn't know he had unless Emma Frost has the anti-life equation. That would be interesting. But
well, that's just like the I win button for any character.
Yeah, and Lawrence's team is Magic, X-23, Gambit, Storm, David Elaine. I don't know who that is, but still. And someone says Emma Frost, Psylocke. That would be an interesting matchup.
Like Psylocke versus who?
Wonder Woman. I say Wonder Woman in that case.
Of course, you would say
Psylocke. Oh, really? Okay. Why Psylocke?
because Psylocke is actually a trained martial artist.
Okay.
And especially for bringing swords into this, she has her psionic sword. Also, I don't think Wonder Woman historically is that good against like mental attacks. Like, in fact, I think she might be actually particularly vulnerable to it.
I'm pretty sure one of Batman's contingency plans in Tower of Babel revolved around mental attacks.
Yeah, what he was going to do for Tower of Babel is he recognized that Wonder Woman would not stop a fight unless she was going to win. So what he did is he put a device in her head that would continuously make her think she was fighting an enemy that wasn't there. So eventually she would give out from a heart attack.
Like, yeah.
Okay,
so I think I would say Psylocke. Like, but you got to realize, like, Psylocke has a particular set of skills that like actually match up really well against Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like,
So
she's a trained martial artist. She has swords and also the psionic kind of stuff.
It'd be
kind of
high
anti Wonder Woman
difficulty,
power
but
set.
Psylocke could pull it off. It would be high difficulty.
I think Psylocke could pull it off. Honestly, I got to say for her versus Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Now, like if we're going against a non-Phoenix Jean Grey, Wonder Woman would win.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because here's the thing, and Nicotina says the good thing: Jean Grey, Gambit, and Cyclops are as vulnerable as you and I are. They're basically human beings, except for like their powers.
Oh,
so,
Gambit versus Wonder Woman. There is no fight. They just end up sleeping together.
No, Wonder Woman would not sleep with Gambit. It'd be like the same thing as like
You do know that Gambit's power is literally sexiness, right?
No, it's not.
Like literally, his
it's
mutant
exploding
power
cards.
He also has a secondary power of superpowered charisma.
No, he doesn't.
Not to mention
he does.
Wonderbat is a thing.
No, literally, because
okay, wait, real quick, hang on. Since JJheat mentioned the ship that must not be named, I'm gonna say
It's
this.
me. Prove it. You're a dick.
Okay.
Actually, and one more.
I guarantee you, if Gambit and Wonder Woman fought, they would fight, and the end result is they would sleep together. Like that is guaranteed.
Yeah.
How did we get onto this topic again?
I don't know. I wanted to do like we're gonna do our X-Men teams. Okay, so we're gonna go around. I'm gonna start with Teladia. You can make an X-Men team. What would it be of? And you can't do like all Wolverine like characters, Nick.
So also, how many are we limiting it to? Like 5 characters?
Let's do 5. I say 5.
All right.
So Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm. I would put Beast in there.
Okay.
Ooh,
that's a good
one. And I would also put the 5th final member, Professor X.
Okay, I can see that. Because
you
then have like the most powerful, the absolute most powerful telepath in all of Marvel.
Yeah, the reason why I say put Beast in there in place basically because of his mind, his brain power.
But he's also pretty good in a fight. Like, yeah, he's the technical guy, but like in a fight, he's pretty good.
And by the way, Raimi brings up an interesting thing. Imagine if the OG X-Men teamed up with Blade, Toby, Spider-Man, and 2003 Hulk. Now that would be a movie.
Wait, didn't we do something similar to this in a previous stream?
I think last week we suggested that if we were doing a pre-MCU CU, that I think we put the X-Men in there. Is it the walking Professor X or in the wheelchair? You got to go wheelchair. But is he in the 90s wheelchair with the hovercraft?
For me, it would have to be the I would say the normal wheelchair, I would say.
Okay, that works.
With the X.
Yeah, I love the X wheels. All right, Nick, impress me.
My turn?
Yeah.
All right, this team will not have Wolverine out of it. I'm just saying that right now.
Oh, that's a ballsy move, but let's see if it pays off for him, Cotton.
Oh, I knew you were going there. So first off, we have Nightcrawler, Beast, Rachel Summers.
Mm-hmm.
He's the telepath of the team.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler, Beast, Rachel Summers, Colossus. Wait, no. Iceman and then Storm.
Okay.
That's just a solid team.
He actually did something.
I was gonna give you the middle claw, but I was like, I can't with that one. I want my X-Men team to be to be too different and too powerful. All right, I like less powered characters. Yeah, probably. All right, JHeat, who you got?
Okay. All right. I have Wolverine, Cyclops, Phoenix, Storm, and Colossus.
Wow, you really came out of the gate with that one. So me, I got the open. We'll talk about that when we get to X2, but that opening scene with Nightcrawler is dope. So my team is Emma Frost, Phoenix, Scott Logan, and
Wait, Emma Frost with the Phoenix Force?
Actually, you know what? Okay, my X-Men team is the Phoenix 5.
Okay, all right. I'm calling BS on that.
If I can't do that, none of my characters are going to have Phoenix powers. I'm just telling you that because then I might as well just have only one X-Men person. Emma Frost, Logan, Scott, not Jean because I don't want drama on my team. And I would go with Iceman and Storm.
That is a very cool team.
Yeah, because I got like I think
it is very cool.
I have like three. Cool. Yeah, exactly. I got like 3 Omegas, a kick-ass telepath, but I didn't want to go too overpowered like Teladia. And then you gotta have Cyclops on the X-Men. Damn, y'all teams are gonna whoop my team. All right, I know. Yeah. By the way, I wish the early MCU was under Raimi to make the X-Men team up. Yeah, that'd be fun. So in the chat, drop in who would you make for an X-Men team? In the meantime, what are your guys' favorite X-Men storylines? I have 2. AVX, because I love seeing the Avengers get their ass kicked. Plus, I love Cyclops going to Captain America. Wait a second. So you're all about helping people, but not once have you ever tried to like fix the public perception of mutants. Excuse me, dude. House of M, because I like that alternate reality and how Wanda basically screws everyone. And
it ruined discourse for Wanda. Like I'm like sorry.
Yeah,
like, he literally got rid of all mutants. Like people realize. You realize she was so stressed and like that was literally like a power reach for her. It's not something you can just do up top of her hat. Like Wanda stands are the worst. Sorry.
Yeah, they are. And finally, Second Coming, which is the return of Hope Summers. It's when you got like when you find she fights Super Sentinel and she just tears it apart because her power is that she kind of borrows and amplifies the powers of nearby mutants. So she blasts it with Cyclops' optic beams like to up the yin yang. It's like really powerful. It's a really dope because you have all the X-Men teams like coordinating. It's really dope. So Teladia, your favorite X-Men stories?
Hard to say. Too hard to choose. I'd only have to choose one.
All right, go ahead.
Right? I would have to say the story where Wolverine and Captain America team up.
That's a good one. Wasn't that drawn by Jim Lee?
Yeah, I think so.
I have that in a book signed by Claremont.
Mine is Wolverine Origins.
Okay, yes, of course.
It's a great story. Beautiful. The art is beautiful.
Art is so good. I'm like, yes, I agree with you on that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, this book is gorgeous.
The interior has like this, like it's like a John Auburn like painted, like it's got like this painted look to it. It's so good. Oh my god, and like the last part of it where like his girl kind of falls on his claws. Oh, that just kills me every time.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just want to add one more story to my list: Hawks and Pox. All right, so go on, Nick.
Oh, I said everything I want to say.
Okay, but yeah, and by the way, Tevia's team is Laura, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Honey Badger, Gabby, and finally Kitty Pryde. Solid team, actually. The Wombat says his favorite stories are the Mutant Massacre, Dark Phoenix, Inferno, House of M, and House of X, of course.
The Maiden Pryor story is really sad.
Yeah. And Raimi asked, does Age of Ultron count because the main character is Wolverine? No.
It's more of an Avenger story.
It's more of an Avenger story because remember, Wolverine's an Avenger. But what's your favorite story that involves the X-Men? And then Wombat says, of course, AVX, you got to pick that. What about you, JHeat? Favorite X-Men stories?
AVX, the entire Claremont run in its entirety. But other than those two, I mean,
That's my go-to X-Men and the Phoenix Saga.
You don't like Hawks and Pox?
Hawks and Pox is okay, but compared to the Dark Phoenix Saga, the Claremont run, I mean, come on.
Anything Claremont touched.
Wasn't like the Phoenix Saga like near relatively the beginning of the Claremont run? So it was like he showed up, started writing X-Men, then all of a sudden Phoenix Saga, then all of a sudden
like, it wasn't like right.
It was like slam in the middle of it.
Okay,
if I remember.
Yeah, because like I think the Phoenix Saga was like what late 70s basically. Yeah. Because he started in like the mid or early to mid 70s kind of thing, I believe.
Yeah. And by the way, there's a great documentary that's on YouTube and Tubi about the history of Claremont's X-Men, and like he goes into like his creative process. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But and that's the other thing. Historically, one of the reasons why I prefer DC to Marvel is because I've always said that DC has more of the most well-known like comic book storylines of all time. The ones that Marvel has mostly involve the X-Men. Have you noticed that?
It's either X-Men or Spider-Man, let's be honest.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. My favorite X-Men stories are Dark Phoenix, of course, X-Force with Logan and Lara, Hawks and Pox, Claremont X-Men run. Oh, there's one, that ending one. Tom Taylor.
Tevya, you are officially banned from all future live streams.
I'm like, I had to go watch the opening scene of X2. Yeah, you got it. But
oh my god, oh my god, oh yeah.
We'll talk about that when we discuss X-Men 2. We're gonna spend a lot of. That's gonna be multiple clips, by the way.
Also, spoiler, X2 is my favorite. X2 is my favorite X-Men movie. So I'm gonna have a lot to say.
That's a good discussion. What's your favorite X-Men movie? Nick has already given his. Teladia, favorite X-Men movie?
Has to be X-Men 2.
Oh yeah.
JJheat. I saw X2 in theaters, so nah.
Mm-hmm. X2. Can't go wrong with X2.
Mine's either X2 or Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past was pretty good, though.
I like when Wolverine goes back in time and he has to remain like calm. He's like, remain calm. After he shot him up.
Actually, I'm going to buck the trend a little bit. My second favorite X-Men movie is First Class.
Nice. I like that one.
I think that I like the biggest crime is that they didn't get Matthew Vaughn is such an underrated comic book movie director. Like he has directed some of the best.
Yeah.
Kingsman, Kick-Ass. You know, he has done so many really solid, really good movies.
Can you imagine, by the way, if like because one of my favorite things about those X-Men movies is how they made Magneto virtually a hero. So I actually and here comes this, but I really enjoyed that.
Apparently,
I mentioned the Hickman X-Men run, and that's what happened.
No, I think it was when I said the A word. So
yeah, but and by the way, the X-Men Red was mostly good because the X-Men Gold and Blue is probably the best one. Then, to be fair, X-Men comics back then were for the horrible Inhumans. Yeah, they tried to do the. Oh, here's one that we didn't mention, Logan. That counts.
Well, yeah, that Logan counts. Yes, I would say
it was a good bookend. It was a good bookend.
By the way, we are going to expect a movie night stream on Logan. We have to do a movie night stream on Logan.
Yeah, but we got to do.
This comic completely sucked. X-Men Green.
Oh yeah. Oh, wasn't there an X-Men comic, or I think it was X-Men Gold, where they put actual like anti-Jew hate speech? And by the way, lads got me here. Yeah, X-Men Apocalypse. Yes, please. That one was good.
Come on, lads.
Wasn't there like a Marvel comic where it's where it's like where there was like Muslim hate speech put into the comic? Or
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the one. The artist put hate speech in the comic.
Literal hate speech. Like it was like I think it was like Islamic verses that were like hateful or whatever. I'm not sure.
Lad, are you coming on the show?
Well, lad, if you want to join, just let me know and I'll shoot you a link. And that movie.
I'll say I think New Mutants is actually a pretty decent movie. I really wish we could have gotten. It was meant to be a horror, like a superhero horror movie, and I really wish we could have gotten that version.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you do realize that film was probably shot like 3 times.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, Anna Taylor-Joy nailed magic. Yeah, she got
Anna Taylor-Joy. It's like she can play anything.
She 100% got. She understood the homework assignment really well, and the CGI in that was actually pretty decent. With
You better be
with the
respectful of
flame
my
guy.
future wife.
What?
You better be respectful of my future wife, Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, I got one thing to say to that.
Oh, are you saying you want to fight me for her hand in marriage?
No,
I
got
challenge
Gal
you
Gadot.
to a duel.
No, I don't want to because I got Gal Gadot. But
That's a very wonderful pick, Jared.
Thank you. They should have stopped and ended right. The best scene of Logan is when he's reading X-Men comics. That one moment blew. That became a meme. You may be cool, but you'll never be Wolverine reading X-Men comics. Oh,
By the way, those actually were fake X-Men comics, but they were actually drawn by Joe Quesada.
Nice. And by the way, all right. So Raimi asked a question: which one's better, X-Men Last Stand or Dark Phoenix?
Neither.
If you have to pick one.
Neither.
All right, so Nick is not playing. JJheat.
Can you repeat the question?
Which one of these is the better movie, X-Men Last Stand or Dark Phoenix?
Oh God.
I know it's like choosing between a bullet to a head or another bullet to the head.
Because it's two versions of the same movie.
Written by the same person and written and directed by Simon Kinberg. Like this is what I don't understand. Last Stand is well known to be the terrible movie. Why the frack? I'm trying to hold back here, Jared.
Thank you.
Why the frick would you hire the man who wrote the worst X-Men movie to literally write the same movie again?
The same storyline too. I gotta go with Dark Phoenix because I enjoyed that one for all of its faults more than Last Stand.
Yeah, this is a lose-lose situation, but I gotta go with Dark Phoenix.
Yep. And by the way, did you guys know? But yeah, go ahead, Teladia.
I don't know which movie to choose between the two. I don't, because they're both bad as each other.
It's good. By the way, do you guys know there was actually a black and white version of
Yes,
Logan?
Yes.
Hey Otis, thanks man. Thanks. Man. I have that actually. What?
Did you know there's a black and white version of Fury Road as well?
Really? That's cool. I actually enjoyed watching Dark Phoenix. It was funny how bad it was. Yeah, that's a good point. Heads up, Shane Nolan. Thanks, dude. But yeah, the black and white version...
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Who do you think is the better Jean Grey? Famke Johnson or what's her name?
Sophie Turner. That's the problem.
I say
Sophie. The classic. I gotta go with the classic.
I gotta go with the classic.
Job, but I feel like Sophie is a slightly better actress, and I kind of feel like she had better material to work with.
That's a fair criticism.
Like Jean Grey was more of a character in Sophie's films. Like, I'm not saying Famke Johnson is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Famke Johnson didn't have as much good material to work with because, like, she never really had storylines that were like she wasn't allowed to be as much of a character in those films as much as Sophie's films were.
By the way, here's a question. By the way, and Lawrence actually gave me an idea. Maybe at some point, like 1 month, maybe for like April, because of April Fools, we'll the whole month we'll watch bad superhero movies and rant about them. That'd be fun.
Well, it's too bad we can't watch Blank Man because that's actually a good superhero movie.
Yeah.
One of these days we're gonna do Blank Man as a movie.
Yeah,
night.
Sure.
Can't be worse than Dragon Ball Evolution.
All right. Roll the clip. Roll the clip.
And
no, he's right.
Did you say that?
One more. Actually, I'm going to mention one more before we go on. At least, Nick, at one point for the Avatar show, we should watch the Ong movie.
Why did you say that name?
I wish. I had a sniper rifle that could go from Michigan to Florida right now so badly. I wish I had a satellite.
The wanted sniper rifle.
I wish that I could like put on my Edith glasses and say "Kill Jared." I really wish I could do that right now.
No. Nick wishes he was Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell right now.
I've never.
I love that clip so much. And by the way, Otis said Sophie Turner all day. Yeah, I liked her as Jean Grey. I think it's because Famke had also was Jean Grey in better movies. So
better
that's
movies,
probably
yes,
why.
but like I will say Sophie had better material to work with. Like
I agree with you on that one.
The Jean Grey stories were better in her movies, but Famke was in a better movies in general.
Yeah, I will agree on that one. I did like that scene where they put in I think it was Apocalypse. Wolverine makes a cameo, and she apparently was part of how he escaped from the facility, which
also
makes his
they
infatuation.
pretty much had him comic accurate.
Yeah, that was pretty much it, the suit and everything. But the problem with that is that it makes his attraction to Jean later on a little creepy. Slightly. It's not as bad as Batcest, but this is a little creepy.
I mean, when he meets her again as an adult, like, you got to realize he doesn't even know who she is. So it's like,
okay, I see that.
Like he had his memories completely gone by that point. He doesn't even know who she is.
He was completely feral.
Oh, okay, and then she kind of gave him back his name. So okay, I'll give you that one.
That's not even his
better.
name. Logan is not like.
I will say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, it's James Howlett.
His real name is James Howlett. Yeah.
I love in that scene. I know we're going off topic for this, but we might as well. In that scene in X-Men Apocalypse when Wolverine escapes, what a great way to utilize that scene, but for a PG-13 rating, where you see on the security camera him tearing people apart. You see people shooting at him, and then always use the claws. They did that scene really well, I think.
Oh, probably one of my favorite moments from Logan is when they're on the run. He uses his real name as his alias. He's like, oh, I'm James Howlett. Like, you're the Howletts. Like, I thought that was such a nice touch. Like, he's actually going by his real name for a little while.
My favorite scene in Logan is when he gives himself that shot, and he screams and he's running and he's like clawing at people. I'm like, yeah, that's Wolverine, baby.
I mean, that's basically the Cowboy's last ride. That's it. They make it that explicitly clear. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm not saying it's bad. It's a good scene.
And I really hope we don't see it would be hilarious if he shows up in Deadpool and he's in the leather costume and everyone's like,
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Yes, I would.
Oh, another really one of my favorite moments is from the Wolverine where he's like, what are you? The wolf. It is so cheesy. Yeah. It is so stupid, but god dang do I love it.
JJheat.
Don't hurt my friend.
Oh, we got our lady in the chat. We got our queen in the chat, and that means I got to give you a very special thing. Okay, so Nick, I'm going to appropriate this for Snyder Queen since we're talking about X-Men.
I am Phoenix!
Do you mind? It. Yeah, you have to because it's on theme. What's up, Snyder Queen?
Guys, before we move on, just got to talk about this quick thing. Right, I know it's a little bit off topic, but Snyder Queen has been doing this thing called sell ZSJL to Netflix and sell a Snyder Cut, Snyderverse to Netflix. If you guys would support that, and the numbers are going really big, and I've already done my part, put my video out there, Snyder Queen. If you've seen it, that's great, and make sure you guys do support that.
And shout out to all of you who've hashtag retweeted and shared it because nobody thought that Snyder Cut was ever going to be a thing. So
I'm making a fan edit that's going to be a trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League for that's going to come out on that day. So in other words, I'm making a very special fan edit for that campaign.
Oh, I don't live in Florida. Someone else does.
I do.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan.
Yeah,
that's he. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm from Michigan. Just let you guys know.
Yeah, that's JJheat. He's just too lazy to put his camera on. And I'm bowing for Snyder Queen. We all are.
Yeah.
Yes, our queen is in the chat.
And by the way, Snyder Queen, I have my new favorite clip. That's my favorite clip, like of this entire
let
movie.
the pairing wars commence.
And let the pairing wars
Stop
commence.
it! You gotta
Yes,
stop
exactly.
it.
I've been busy making a Power Rangers edit. I have like 8,000 clips for In Space. Nice. Yes, and yes. Yes, it's all right. We all bow before our queen. It's all good. It's all good. We are your subjects, except for when you mentioned the ship that must not be named.
What,
Yes.
Wonderbat?
All right.
Multiverse stuff.
I'll agree with you on this one. I'll agree with you this one. Hugh Jackman. Let's talk about that. Imagine. Okay, so
no, wait. I have something special I want to share before we.
Is it short? It better be short.
It's 30 seconds long. You'll
no.
No, Jared, please. It's a behind the scenes thing.
Is it the Spider-Man thing?
Just put it up.
No, I'm not. I don't want to get
Come
this
on.
thing taken down.
I don't think it'll get taken down. It's behind the scenes. Please.
Okay, now I think you guys will agree with me on this one. Superbad.
The ultimate ship, yes.
Superman and Batman.
Oh, it just got all homoerotic in here.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not doing that, Nick. No.
If it goes down, you have my permission to hate me.
No, not doing it. Particularly if it's 30 seconds, dude. Nope, not risking it.
You can cut it off at the 10. You can pause at the 10-second mark.
Snyder Queen.
It's the scene where Spider-Man pops out, right?
Yeah, it's behind the scenes footage. I don't think it'll trigger anything.
Okay, how about this? I'll mute it. So that was so apparently someone dressed as Spider-Man just ran on the set.
Yeah, it was meant to be kind of like a joke kind of thing.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's like Peter Parker actually shows up.
He's like, wrong movie. Sorry, wrong movie.
Yeah. But okay, so Snyder Queen, favorite X-Men movie, and then what would be your dream X-Men team? So while we wait for her to bring up her choices, let's see. Now here's the thing. All right. Now who do you think would win? All right, you ready? Phoenix or
Phoenix?
I haven't even given you a choice. Darkseid.
That's
okay.
close.
Question: is this Phoenix or Dark Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Then Darkseid.
Darkseid. But if it's Dark Phoenix, then I'm going with her.
What's the difference, by the way, for my own knowledge?
Dark Phoenix is basically unleashed. Like Jean Grey's not limiting herself. Like it's
completely unhinged.
Because the powers was there with Jean Grey. She just kind of limited herself. Like she held herself back. Dark Phoenix is basically is one of the most powerful characters in fiction ever. Like he's like Dr. Manhattan level.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Maybe that's the only one where maybe I could see it happen. And by the way, since Snyder Queen mentioned
Dark
this,
Phoenix makes Franklin Richards piss his pants.
Yeah, and by the way, since Snyder Queen put up this little beauty of a comment.
Why did you say that name?
By the way, can you imagine an X-Men movie directed by Zack Snyder?
That would be the best movie ever.
Yeah, I think he could. If there's one Marvel project, I think he could do really well as the X-Men.
I think he could do a good Daredevil movie.
Yes, but if he does the X-Men, watch him basically do his Justice League story, except it's just all the X-Men characters. Who would be the Superman, though?
Imagine Zack Snyder doing a Moon Knight movie.
Oh, that would be excellent. I could see that.
I could see him doing Ghost Rider as well.
Yes! I could see him doing Squadron Supreme as well.
Okay, that's basically a Superman movie.
Come on.
Yeah, it's basically Justice League. I'm telling you, Marvel, hire him and just recreate his movies. That's it. That's done.
Jared, every time you bring up Squadron Supreme, I lose 5 minutes of my life. You are going to kill me in
Squadron.
The person known as Nick is officially dead. I'm his ghost.
Wonderbat.
Nick is not Nick is.
Oh my gosh, we lost contact with Nick JJheat.
Thanks to JJheat and the power of Wonderbat, Nick has.
Well, on that note,
you're in timeout.
Thank you.
You're in timeout. Stop it.
Thank you, JJheat, for invoking the superior ship.
Okay, you trolling? Are you?
It's me. Prove it. You're a dick. Okay.
Are you that mad, or are you just?
Yeah,
I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling.
We're having fun.
It's so easy. And by the way, Wonder Lantern. What do you guys? Let's talk about that for a second. Wonder Woman and Green Lantern.
Lit. I'm just gonna say it sounds lit.
Wait.
He means Hal Jordan, by the way.
How do we get from Wonder Lantern to?
You guys started talking about Wonder Bat, and then
it's because Jared can't help himself. He needs to constantly talk about his waifu.
Yeah, okay, so apparently it's strange. We lost connection with Nick's audio. You're on thin ice, brother.
You jackbutt.
Yeah, exactly. You're on thin ice, dude. But
call me Iceman then.
That's actually not
the Iceman's comet.
Okay.
What do they call you? Wheels?
I love
I'll
that.
need some Kleenex for that, but sure.
Okay. She said, Snyder Queen says, I love the first one the most. I need to rewatch them. It's been a while. Yeah, a lot of them. It's been a while. But again, so Snyder Queen, if you can make an X-Men team in the comics, what would be your team? For me, by the way, my team would
include Wonder Woman because she's the queen. She can do what she wants.
If there's a multiverse, but my team was Emma Frost, Wolverine, Cyclops, Phoenix. I wouldn't go Dark Phoenix because Dark Phoenix is kind of evil
and overpowered.
It's kind of in her name.
Yeah, and Iceman. In other words, I have like all the Omegas, most of the Omegas, anyway.
You forgot Omega Red.
Or actually, no. Let me replace one. Franklin Richards. And then at that way, I could just rewrite everything. I could rewrite all of Marvel, and then Wonder Woman isn't an X-Men. Yeah, exactly.
I was saying Snyder Queen because you are a queen. You can actually make Wonder Woman an X-Men.
Technically, she could be Storm because Storm is the Queen of Wakanda, or was.
And Storm is actually an African princess even without the Wakanda stuff, and she's revered as a god.
Wait, wasn't Storm and Black Panther's marriage annulled at one point?
Yeah, because what happened was this was AVX because an X person essentially flooded Wakanda. That's where the whole Namor flooding Wakanda from Black Panther 2 comes from, and part of because of that. So essentially, he says it in a really dick way because he's like, "Oh, we're no longer married," and then Storm's like, "What happened?" And then Black Panther says, "The High Priest of Wakanda annulled our marriage today," and then Storm goes, "But you're the High Priest of Wakanda," and he goes, "Yeah."
Well, you had Namor as a mutant run amok and flood my nation.
Which you should have said. That's just Namor. So,
but that honestly, let's be honest. That's kind of racist. Like that's like basically having let's say someone from Wakanda attacks Charles the X Mansion. Does that mean T'Challa is responsible?
Nope. By the way, there was this great video that Comics Explained did where he did like crossovers between Marvel and DC that he wanted to see. Imagine if all the X-Men in the Krakoa age got Red Lantern rings and just rained down hellfire on the humans.
I still want to see the storyline where Hulk gets the Red Lantern.
That's another one he did. It was like Hulk gets a Red Lantern ring and pretty much kills everyone.
Okay, what Lantern ring would Deadpool be?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would go with orange.
Yeah, probably green.
Yeah, I could see him literally cutting off Larfree's head And just taking the Lantern ring. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, or which Wolverine has to have a Red Lantern ring. I think that's obvious at this point. Which one would okay? How which ring would Dark Phoenix get? I could see Dark Phoenix having all the rings. Black, yes. And
Charles Xavier is Blue Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
What about Cyclops?
It depends on what era.
Green.
Storm is Violet.
You mean Star Sapphire?
Yeah.
No,
Star
Storm
Sapphire.
is Compassion. Indigo for passion.
Yeah, okay, Indigo. By the way, so here's an interesting idea. So someone proposed this for AVX. It's where so AVX plays off normal, except when Tony Stark tries to take out the Phoenix Force, it goes into a zombie Jean Grey and she raises an army of Phoenix Force powered Marvel zombies.
Oh, that sounds scary.
That's like
a massacre.
Only more of a massacre. Yeah, exactly. I would read that storyline.
Colossus is green.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one. What would Emma Frost have?
Nightcrawler is blue. Nightcrawler is blue.
He has to be blue. What about Emma Frost?
Frost is yellow. Emma Frost is yellow, hands down.
Yeah. Apocalypse, I think, would also be a yellow.
Magneto
Lantern.
is yellow as well.
Yeah, I would say so. What about see, what's another X-Men that we haven't assigned a ring yet? Rogue.
Star Sapphire.
Okay, hers is so Snyder Queen says her team is Storm, Wolverine, Phoenix, Nightcrawler or Beast, Cyclops, and Iceman. Solid team.
That's a solid team.
That is a team to be that is a team not to be reckoned with. So, on that note, I think that's a good place to leave this discussion real quick and talk a little bit about what we got coming out on the channel. So, Teladia, what you got coming out on your channel?
Well, I've got League of DC coming up pretty soon. We're going to be
tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. It won't be. I don't think we're going to do one this week because there's not much to go over. But maybe next weekend, because next weekend is the DC slate, so we'll be covering that. Hopefully, yes. And furthermore, there will be we'll be talking about all the leaks that's happened with WB Games Montreal, not Montreal, Rocksteady. Sorry, we'll be covering that as well.
Nick, what have we got going on with the Phoenix Press?
All right. So on Monday, we'll be releasing the next episode of Avatar Rewatch. And then on Wednesday, we'll be releasing the next episode of the Super Split Screen Brothers.
Heck yeah. All right. JJheat.
As for me, Blazing Shonen re-upload is mostly going to be a Screecher review because my original video got copyrighted, and episode 2 is to be determined, as well as Swole Tour playthroughs.
Awesome. Nice. And in terms of Comics League, how come my Twitter's been dead lately. And he goes, I have no idea. I used to get like 500 likes. Okay. Well, in terms of Comics League, I'm talking about this upcoming video is how to fix DC. My upcoming fan edit is making a trailer concept for Ben Affleck's Batman movie. In other words, I'm going to basically, to the best of my ability, use footage from across DC because there's not enough Deathstroke stuff purely from the Snyderverse in order to like actually use Deathstroke. I'll probably use a little bit from like Titans and then Arrow because that was still a solid Deathstroke. And in terms of Indie Wednesday, I'm going to be reviewing more issues of Invincible because I love that comic series. And Under Two Capes, I'm still figuring out what we're going to do with Under Two Capes. But as soon as I do, I will post on Twitter and let you guys know. And by the way, all these gentlemen, their information should be in the description below. And, okay, one thing I want to talk about before we log off, as opposed to what I'm doing, as to what at least Comics League is doing for the sell the Snyderverse to Netflix Day. What I'm at least going to do, I'm going to be tweeting up until like 3 p.m. because I start my my work day then. And then I'm going to be watching Zack Snyder's Justice League throughout the day. And then on that day, I'm going to release a a Justice League trailer for the Snyder Cut. In other words, a tribute to the Snyder Cut, and then with the tagline like "Sell the Snyderverse to a Netflix to like basically raise awareness and like spread out." So that's basically what I'm doing for that day, and it's simple to save DC, get a director and writer who understands the DC universe. Yeah, exactly. So, and then in terms of watch, James Gunn is going to drop the slate announcement 11:59 p.m. on the 30th of the month. That's when he's going to drop it. It'll be like I wasn't lying. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't think he has a
not be
DC slate.
surprised.
I don't think he has.
Oh yeah.
A slate.
And we had a director who understood DC, but he got pushed out when WB flipped out.
Here's the issue with making any announcements. Until we won't know what really they have planned until Shazam, Aquaman, and Flash come out, because until all three of those movies come out, anything they say, we have to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Let me ask you guys this before we log off. What do you guys think do you think James Gunn is going to modify his plans if these next three movies do gangbusters, assuming they do?
He might not have a choice. Like Zaslav may force him. Because if Aquaman, I don't think Shazam's going to make $1 billion. I think it's probably going to do like 800.
I think Aquaman and Flash have the most potential to make $1 billion. Flash because of nostalgia reasons, because suppose they're going to have stuff from Christopher Reeves and Michael Keaton's playing a prominent role in that.
I think Aquaman will make $1 billion because the previous one made $1 billion, and I really don't think this movie is doing anything different that would make it not do $1 billion. So it probably will do $1 billion. Flash also has the potential to do $1 billion. If they do $2 billion movies, I don't really see any way that Zaslav doesn't want them. Like to just completely discard these movies would be stupid.
These
and
characters,
Zaslav is anything but not stupid.
Particularly if now this is an if, because supposedly they may put back in the ending cameo in the Flash of Cavill and Godot and everything. So let's assume they do that too. Let's assume that it essentially ends the way we all wanted it to end originally, and it makes $2 billion. And you look at the discourse, it's because we have these characters. Now, I know Cavill has been screwed royally by Warner Brothers multiple times, but do you think if they came asking, we'll do whatever you want, do you think he would come back, seeing as though he loves Superman so much?
Possibly, yes.
I could see a short-term, like 5-year contract.
If it has the right director, because here's the thing, because I think at that point maybe Zaslav would be more willing to like do more with these actors, and then make an offer to Zach assuming the Netflix stuff does not happen, but this happens. I'm saying,
remember Netflix, they brought him back and told him we literally saw this exact scenario play out last year where they brought Henry back and he was gonna play Superman more, and then they just do no win. I'm not sure. It's kind of a fool me once kind of situation. So but
I'm saying they actually really give him.
They gave him movies like
this time. Like Nick, I'm saying this time they give him an actual ink on paper contract. In other words, they say we will give you a contract.
I'm sure he had a contract.
He had an audio. No, he had a verbal contract. There was nothing on paper. I mean, I'm saying this time they say, here, sign on the dotted line. Whatever you want, we're good.
I still think
you're not going to be able to walk this
not
back.
As easy as you think it is.
Not going to be easy, but he didn't have a contract. But what I'm saying is that but if it goes, he had a verbal agreement. But I'm just saying, if these movies do really gangbusters, are they really going to throw out this continuity? I think what could realistically happen is Zaslav say, do whatever you have to do to preserve this universe, because obviously it's doing well. That's what I think. I think the people, I think Cavill would, because he loves Superman, particularly if he has the promise of a signed contract. They essentially say, we have it all prepared.
No, he had a verbal.
The only way that, like, I understand that, like, verbal contract. I got that. I was wrong. Okay. Fair enough. But, like, The only way.
Listen, I gotta go. It's been great, and I will see
okay.
y'all next time.
All right. The only way
I'll see you,
Henry
dude.
would come back is I bring this up. The whole dump, like they better bring him, like literally fill up the Superdome full of gold and just give that to Henry Cavill.
That's
And
not
that
gonna
still
happen.
might not be enough. No,
That's
no,
not
I'm
gonna-
being
yeah.
no, dude, I'm being hyperbole. I'm saying if they bring him back, it's gonna be a very big paycheck. Like let's say like
Yeah.
$100 million over 5 films. Some
The- Go on.
like no, here's the thing. Henry's been burned twice. He knows his worth. And if they want to bring him in, like there's got to be some like very like a contract, pay or play,
Yeah.
where if like there's got to be like an exit clause, like it's got to be an ironclad contract where if they do screw him over, he still gets like it's got to be like $100 million for 5 films or 10 films or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know,
But essentially, but what I'm saying is that I think that if these movies do very well, like in other words, if the scenario we're talking about happens, I think that they'll at least start conversations with these actors saying, "What do we have to do for you to come back?" That's what I think. I think we'll at least hear that they're talking to Cavill. Hey.
see,
They could start talking to him, and it
the
just
thing
falls
with
apart.
Cavill is it's not just about the money for him; it's about the
Yeah.
passion. Like, you really think he would have left The Witcher if it was about the money?
Yeah,
If
that's
it was
why I'm
strictly about the
saying.
money, he would still be at The Witcher.
That's what I'm saying. Based upon his, because he clearly loves Superman. That's why I think. Let me put it this way. That's why I think, assuming Warner Bros. Would come calling and give him an actual contract and stuff, I think he would want to come back because he loves that character so much. He was clearly passionate about Superman.
Well, it's going to be this. Well, I guarantee you, the negotiations are going to take 6 months because.
Oh yeah.
If he's going to come back, he's going to want some like actually stuff in writing and like, hey, if you screw me over, you better at least pay me. You know.
Yeah, and 100% that's gonna happen based on past experience. But
Also,
yeah,
Lawrence, I don't think Blue Beetle.
No, it's not gonna make $1 billion.
I think it will do well. I think it's probably going to be like the $700 to $800 range.
The only movie to possibly make $1 billion is The Flash. Every other
Aquaman
film
as well.
Aquaman, I think so too.
And Aquaman, but other than that, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, no.
I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods is going to do well. I think it's going to be a between $600 and $800 million movie. That's my prediction.
I think it'll do better than Shazam 1. Let me put it to you that way.
Because there actually is some buzz for Shazam going into this.
Particularly if the rumors are true. Again, rumors. That Gal Gadot is like an important character in the movie. I don't think so, but again, it's leaks. But I'm just saying, assuming that's true, I think that as soon as it comes out that Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is in this movie, I think that that will give it a boost.
Though what I do wonder is how many people are burned by Superman and Black Adam, because they literally did the same thing with Black Adam, where it's like, oh, Superman's in it, and like it's got a little bit of a boost, but I wonder how many people actually are burned by that whole situation.
Well, here's the difference. If the leaks are to be taken seriously, Wonder Woman's not in the post-credit scene. She's actually in the movie. It's not like she's in a post-credit scene at the end of the film.
If Gal Gadot is going to be in the movie, it's literally probably just going to be one scene, and it's going to be them talking.
Yeah, that's what realistic. I'm saying it's kind of a different situation than Black Adam, because Black Adam, he was just in the post-credit. If Cavill was actually in the movie, I think that would have helped it. And Aquaman 2 has a shot of making $1 billion, but I don't think we'll hit it. Maybe, I don't know. It's going to do exactly the same. Okay. I've seen no advertisement for it. I mean, they have the trailers and everything. But
I wonder how many views the trailer has gotten. Because like that's actually a decent metric. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The final trailer. I'm seeing from Warner Brothers, it's got 12 million. From
how many
DC,
likes?
It's got. Hang on. From DC, it's got 322,000. The first trailer had 17 million. So in terms of how many likes, 43,000.
All right. So yeah. And then also, since it has 44.2k dislikes, because I can actually see dislikes because I'm awesome.
Yeah.
The Fury of the Gods official trailer 1 has 207k likes and 9.2 dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that has 17 million views on it. So, actually, really good ratio.
So
Like I'd say these are decent numbers.
What, Teladia?
So I was gonna say, because I gotta get going in a minute.
Yeah, sure.
I was gonna say that I just feel going forward now that I've just gotta keep momentum going with the hashtag. Once that happens for the sell the Snyderverse to Netflix, you will see something happen. We don't know
Mhm.
when, but it'll happen.
Let me put it this
Just
way:
believe.
if on trend day we get 1.5 million again, I think that will lead to something.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because
So
let me put it this way: you could say, okay, a couple of thousand, 1.5 million is significant.
yeah, and I already know that Netflix are watching us. So
Plus, and here's the thing: I think it has the potential of reaching that, because if it keeps up the momentum it keeps getting, I think it could happen.
Hello,
Yeah.
Stranger Things people. Please make a show about Screecher on Netflix, please.
Yes, exactly. And Lauren says, my opinion is the only thing I care about is watching good movies. Yeah, you should still want to see these if you're
Yeah.
interested in the characters and watching
Mhm.
entertaining movies.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I'm gonna be going to see. Shazam, probably
Mhm.
opening weekend, and then
Mhm.
I'll be like probably just kind of shooting a video, you doing my reactions afterwards.
Yeah, and I know you're gonna go see the Flash because of Keaton,
Yeah, I'll probably see Aquaman.
even though it could
yeah.
be her.
I can't wait to like text you, say like Amelia Clark is Mira.
Yeah, I know, that'd be great. All right,
I don't
so-
well, the thing is, okay, question. If they do replace her, like, would they announce it, or would they just kind of keep it as a surprise?
I think they would keep it as a surprise. I don't think they would announce it.
Though the
So-
thing is, if she was Mira, it would have leaked out. We would have heard
Yeah.
like really solid rumors.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We haven't heard any rumors, so I think
He says that
I
not
don't
selling to Netflix, you can't sell a storyline that involves characters like this. They'd have. Well, what we're saying,
license it.
what there's
licensing,
license it. It's not selling. It's not selling.
It's not
just
selling. It's just licensing the IP out.
And
Then-
Zaslav himself said he's willing to license everything, including DC.
I know where you're coming from, Ty. You probably heard it from the Truth 31, but he doesn't know what he's saying. I'm just saying that.
like, okay, to be perfectly blunt, I consider the situation to be highly unlikely. But you also know, you want to know what else is highly unlikely? The Snyder
Snyder
Cut getting
Cut?
released.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So my
Yeah.
position is, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'll admit, stranger things have happened.
Let me put it this way: it's unlikely, but at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden they announced we have a distribution deal with Netflix for the Snyderverse. Because
I mean,
again,
take a look at the animation stuff. Where's it gone to? Amazon. Why? Because they're licensing the IPs out. So
Yeah.
it can easily be done.
plus here's the thing, and
fully admit
Xevious.
okay, I fully admit it is possible. Like, the logistics are there. It could be done if they want to. Do they want to? I don't think so. But I'm kind of like keeping that door open and be like, you never know.
Because here's the thing, though, and Xevious said it last night on the show. He was like, okay, yeah, it could not happen, but here's the thing. Everyone was adamant that the Snyder Cut would never be released. They were as adamant as they are now that the Snyder Cut would not be released. And we all know what happened with that.
Yeah, they had to give in at the end.
So
And-
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, let me put it this way. I think it's like, I think it could happen. It could happen. He said, I do my own research, to be honest. Not everything comes from truth. It's honestly just common sense at this point. They saw the hashtags and didn't care if you asked me, but I respect y'all. Thank you. And all it is, dude, let me put it this way. That's fine if you don't like believe it could happen. Yeah. That's your like opinion. That's totally fine.
Yeah, which is pretty much my position, but I respect
all
your
we're
guys'
saying
passion.
crazier stuff has happened for us to think, okay, at this point, don't knock anything completely out and say it's not going to happen, because people said the same.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Granted, there is more like money involved in licensing, because let's say they license it, they didn't have to make the movies, but again, Snyder Cut, because that people very connected to Hollywood even were like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And then we all know what happened May 2020.
See, here's the other factor that I don't think you guys have thought about. If they do like a parallel Snyderverse on Netflix, it will actually be competing with what Warner Brothers is doing on, even if it's
not theaters.
Netflix.
No, it's not really, because here's the thing, Nick. The DC slate will only consist of only a few projects. It's not going to be the full thing. So how can it compete with the Snyderverse if you think about it, right?
Yeah, it is. I think all that they're calling for is like maybe just the two JL movies, right?
Yeah, the only covering for the two JL movies, the Air Cut, and I think the Bat Factor.
Well, the Air Cut, I think, is very likely to at least release at some point, because that thing is pretty much done.
Yeah,
that thing actually we actually know it exists. Like, we know it full on exists. Like, they.
But here's the thing: what we also know, right, is the fact that WBD needs money. They need money from somewhere, right? And the only place where people would likely to see money come in would be Netflix or Amazon. Those are the only two companies I can see that.
And here's the other point too. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to say one more thing. For This Will Never Happen, we never thought that they would cancel Batgirl when it was pretty much done.
Yeah.
That shows you how desperate Warner Brothers is for money. They straight up said, we're not going to release this movie. So I'm like, if you say Zaslav would not want to do this, he straight up did something that's probably even more unlikely when canceling this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batgirl was that was unexpected.
And then they upgraded the Blue Beetle movie too. But what I'm saying as well is the fact that we know that if the slate isn't good, we know Zaslav isn't going to come back and do this again. He's probably going to sell up WBD.
Mm-hmm.
And then the potential for selling up is a big thing.
Of the ones that I think would buy, like, so let's say DC, I think Amazon.
Comcast is also, I'd say, is also a factor in here, because remember they put in that bid for Fox, and I guarantee you Comcast would love to get their hands on Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I would say so. But again, really unlikely stuff has happened recently with this new regime with Warner Brothers. So that's another thing we have to take into consideration when saying this won't happen.
As certain as I am that this won't happen, that's the one part where, like, I got to give it to you. Like, you never know.
And Ty says, I'd love to see a Snyderverse finish, but there's no stops to the new universe now. We'll have it all. We can have it all. I can't say I'm not excited, but in my words, Snyderverse lives on. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, think about it this way. It's just more DC content, because let's say it happens. We can have both. There's really because let me put it this way. It's just putting out more content with the characters. And particularly here's the thing, Nick. Here's how they can avoid the competition thing. First off, don't release it in theaters as much as I would want that. Let's say they opt just for streaming. Okay. So what they could say, they could essentially say, okay, in the marketing, Elseworld stories, and then they can have like a thing that pops up before the movie that's like DC Black Label or like DC Elseworlds, and just advertise that this is an Elseworlds and not connected to that universe. In other words, make it clear that this is separate from what James Gunn is doing. And plus, James Gunn himself has said, I'm open to doing Elseworld stories. So there you go.
He's open to the idea of Elseworld, right? And
assuming he keeps his word. I'm sorry, go ahead, Teladia.
I was going to say as well, on top of that, right? We know that Netflix, to have it on the streaming service, will boost up the subscription numbers.
Yeah.
Right. It'll boost up those subscription numbers easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I feel like the Snyderverse going to Netflix makes so much sense. Licensing it out makes money. WBD makes money, and furthermore, then they can, they have that creative freedom to do the stories that they wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, we don't have to wait for Zack Snyder's contract to go away.
No, because he's at Netflix.
Literally don't. They can say, hey, Zach, you want to do this as well? And I guarantee you, Zach would probably find a way to make it work because he knows how important it is to his fans that this story is shown and completed.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this X-Men exclusive stream. We're going to wrap it up. It was fun. And the only way DC is going to be successful if they give the fans what they want. Exactly. The only reason why it's possible is because Zaslav wants DC to be successful. Yeah, so he'll literally do anything. But on that note, I already went over what the gentlemen are releasing. Like, comment, subscribe to all these guys. They do some great content, and they're on this channel a lot. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on. And stay at work, everyone. Bye-bye.